Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to get your eyeshadows to be more true to color, how to get them up here and not washed out and ashy on the lid. So I'm going to be giving some tips and tricks on how I achieve a vivid pigmented eyeshadow look and how you can achieve this on your own. So let's get started. Alright, so I'm actually going to be recreating a look that I did last summer, and this was around the time where I just discovered how to get my eyeshadow colors to show up and be true to color and vibrant, and honestly it was a game changer. So I know how hard it is to get your eyeshadows to show up and not look like they're disappearing throughout the day. So my first tip is to actually use a great eyeshadow base. So my favorite eyeshadow bases are the Louise base, and they come in a variety of shades. I'm using shade number 3, and I also like the Anastasia Beverly Hills eye primer, and this primer is different from the other one, but they essentially do the same thing. And this one is actually more accessible because you can get it off of Sephora and ABH website. So this is a more white, really light color. And then the other base, my P. Louise base, is in the shade number 3. So it's gonna match more, it's gonna complement more of my skin tone. So this is, I don't know if I'm ashy, but I'm probably ashy. So this is a shade number 3 from P. Louise, and then this is the ABH eye primer. The ABH only come in one shade as of right now, but I like using both of these. This one is more newer to me, so I'm going to show you guys using my P. Louise base today. If you don't have an eye base, you can also use a concealer. I've been collecting a ton of concealer over the past, I'd say, 6 months or a year or so, and my favorite concealers, if I'm not using that eyeshadow base, I'll use my Too Faced Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer, or I'll use my Tarte Shape Tape, which is a full coverage amazing concealer. Too Faced is more fluid, it's full coverage, but it has a different finish. And then I'd say the Tarte Shape Tape is a more matte finish, and they're both full coverage, but it really depends on what I'm looking for today. If I have, let's say, drier eyes, I'd probably use a more hydrating concealer to prep my eye base. But if I have oily skin, I'd probably go for a Tarte Shape Tape, or you know, something that suits my skin at the moment. I also really like the e.l.f. concealer, the Colorpop concealer, the Makeup Revolution concealer. There's so many different concealers you can utilize. Don't feel like you have to get this P. Louise eyeshadow base or this ABH one, even though they are great eyeshadow bases and I 100% recommend them. If you don't have them right now, feel free to use a concealer. Just make sure it is lighter than your actual skin tone. Now, the reason why you want it to be lighter than your skin tone is because using a lighter concealer, your eyeshadows are going to be more visible if you use a lighter base behind of that. So I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about right now. I actually used the Anastasia Beverly Hills pomade for my brows today. So I'm trying to use this more because my eyebrow pencils ran out, so I'm going back to this again. Using my P. Louise eyeshadow base, I like to directly take it onto my eye. You don't really need a lot when you're using an eyeshadow base. You just want a nice even layer. Not too much. If you feel more comfortable applying this onto the back of your hand and then applying it with a brush, you can definitely do so. My next tip would be to use a clean brush. I know, as simple as it sounds, but honestly using a clean brush would really help blend out all of your shadows and all of your concealers that you're using to achieve this look. So I'm taking my Morphe E20. So this is my preferred dense brush that I like to use. I've been using this brush for years. It even broke off, but I refuse to throw it out because the new one is, the new one looks completely different. Like, I don't understand why they couldn't just replicate it the way it was. It's the same exact brush. It's the same exact brush, and they just changed it. Sometimes I'll use this Detailed Deluxe Crease Brush from Real Techniques. I like to use this brush, so this is what I'm gonna use today. And if you notice, I am just patting it. I'm not swiping it. I'm not going in circular motions. I'm just patting this in. Because you don't want your eyeshadow base to be streaky or patchy, so this is going to help avoid that. I'm just going to add a little bit more just because I do want it a little close to the brow, but not really all the way. So I'm just gonna put a little bit more up there, because sometimes I do like to take my shadows up to the brow bone and close to the brow. Make sure you get in the inner socket right there, extend it outwards, get it on the lash line. Nice even base, and you can tell it's lighter than my skin tone, so automatically I know my shadows are gonna be vibrant when I put them on top of this base. So usually with eyeshadows, I like to start in the crease first and then work my way to the lid. But for this look, I got the best results working on my lid first and then into the crease. Not sure why, might be the way that these shadows are, but usually I would work in the crease and then to the lid. But for this look, we're going to be working backwards. Taking my BH Cosmetics Take Me Back to Brazil palette. This was actually one of my first color eyeshadow palettes, and these shadows are super small, like my whole finger. So I'm gonna take this lime green shade that is well used, as you can see, and I'm gonna be taking this on my Wet n Wild eyeshadow brush. I'm not swirling it in, I'm just picking it up. It's okay if there's fallout, that's perfectly normal. So I'm going to press this onto my eyelid. You see how vibrant that lime green is? Sometimes lime greens are really hard to appear, but this one, it's great. So I'm just putting it on the lid and a little bit above my lid. The next shadow that I'm taking is from my Juvia's Place Zulu palette, and I'm going to be taking this orange shade, and then I'm gonna, ooh, you know what, I lied. I'm gonna switch over to a different brush. So I'm gonna be using my Morphe M507, and the reason why I switched over is just because I don't want to disturb that lid shade too much, since I did put that on first. Using a smaller tiny detail brush, this is really gonna help achieve the look that I want without disturbing that first shade that I put down. Although we're gonna go back in, I just want to use a smaller brush. Gonna go right on top of that green, and I'm gonna start by windshield wiper motions. This shadow is pigmented enough where I can use windshield wiper motions instead of, you know, just pressing it on. So look how pigmented that shadow is. Juvia's eyeshadow palettes are really pigmented alone, but I mean, I'm gonna show you guys how you get them to stay pigmented. So you want to apply the pigments and then blend them out. So you want them to appear to the party, and then you also want them to have fun. You want them to pop out. You want them to cohabit. Is that the word? You want them to pop out to the party, but you also want them to get along.
The fuck is that? I know I ain't crazy. Y'all heard, I'm keeping... What the fuck is going on in this neighborhood? We don't get down like that. Everybody over here go to work.
Did y'all hear those gunshots? You also want them to work well together. Alright, you want them to blend. You don't want no beef, no problems. So we're gonna apply that shadow, and then we're gonna buff her out. No static, alright? So I'm gonna take that tip of the brush and just gonna use some small circular motions. I'm not gonna take it too far in the inner corner because we're gonna be putting another shadow there. You have to have patience working. You have to have patience working with eyeshadows, especially with colors, because they take time, and honestly, they like to test your patience. But I got time today. So I'm just taking a fluffy brush. This is a BH Cosmetics brush. I've had this brush for so long. I don't even know the number on it, but it's just a nice fluffy brush. So I'm just buffing that out. And as you can see, it's not as pigmented anymore because I use a different brush to buff that out. A more detailed brush, a more dense brush, you're going to get more product. And a fluffier brush, you're going to get a more diffused, lighter payoff. So I'm just buffing that out. It's going to help create like a gradient. And I'm going back in with my orange, doing the same thing. I'm taking my Dirty Soul palette from Colorpop, and I'm taking the shade 000, which is this nice, I like to call it my watermelon shade. It's like a coral. It's a really nice bright shade. Using a Morphe M62. So this brush is more flimsy, it's more flexible, and it's not really dense. So I'm just gonna graze that orange with this red. So I'm not taking it directly above the orange, but kind of like overlapping this on top of the edge of that orange. I typically wouldn't do something like this. When I created this look, I did this, and looking back, I'm just like, why did I do that? But it just adds a different type of vibe to this look. I don't know, I like it. Might not be everybody's cup of tea. Not sure if y'all can see the vision yet, but just wait till I'm done. Just gonna blend everything together. Gonna go back in with that orange again because we cannot lose our shadows here. So whenever we add a shadow, it's more than likely that shadow that you put before, it's gonna get lost in the sauce a bit. So you just want to make sure everyone is in attendance here. I hope this camera is just catching how vibrant these shadows are looking, because on camera this coral shade isn't really popping up. Don't worry, I did a head count and she's there. Going back in with my Zulu palette from Juvais, I'm gonna be picking up this yellow shade, and I'm gonna be pressing this in the inner corners of the lid. So yellows can be hard, you know. Yellow is another color where it can be hard for it to show up. So this is definitely a shadow where you want to take your time for this color to appear. So you can see it already. But now that she's there, I'm just gonna buff her out a little. And this brush is a little bit more pinched, as you can see. It's a great blending brush. This is a Morphe M433. So since it's pinched, it's perfect to just get into that crease and buff what you need to buff out. And sometimes I'll just flick it around, blend it into that orange, try to get a nice gradient from yellow to orange. Yellow to orange is just, it's such a vibe. Just gonna touch up the shadows, try to make sure that they all blend together. I'm gonna go back into that first shadow that I applied, pressing that onto the lid. That shadow definitely got brighter from a couple moments ago. And then I'm just gonna touch up those edges. If you need to take a smaller brush, just take a smaller brush and go in. So I'm just softening the edges of this yellow real quick. All right, so I'm gonna do the other eye now, and we're gonna do the same exact thing. I'm gonna take my Morphe 35L palette. I'm gonna take a pinched brush using this banana yellowy shade. I'm gonna ever so slightly clean up this area because I'm not sure what it is, but I feel like this would help. This shade reminds me of Dippin' Dots. Those ices back in the day. That was like one of my go-tos from the ice cream truck. Okay, so now that that's over, I'm gonna use the NYX Matte Liquid Liner. I hope this goes well. Let's shorten this one a little bit. Okay, I'm not gonna touch it no more. I lied. It's bothering me. I hate being a perfectionist. It's like, relax, bro. It's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna move on to the face, and I'm gonna do my lashes a little later. I'm gonna do my face off camera. Okay, so I did my foundation, concealer, all of that off camera. Now I'm gonna go to the lower lash line and show you guys what I did there. Taking another P. Louise eyeshadow base. This is the Basic Brights. This is in a shade Bangin' Blue. And using a Morphe M250, a very small detailed brush. I'm gonna take some straight out of the tube. I'm gonna put a nice even coat on my brush. And this is gonna go straight into my waterline. So the good thing about these P. Louise eyeshadow bases, they're great for eyeliners, eyeshadows, anything. My crybaby ass eyes be watering, so I'm not gonna put it straight into the waterline, like a little bit outside of the waterline as well. I'm just gonna spill a little bit out of the waterline. I'm gonna take my Lime Crime Superfoil eyeshadow duo, and I'm gonna take the shade Glass Slipper, which is this nice blue one right here. And a good thing about these is that they're water activated. So instead of water, I'm gonna use a little bit of facial spray just because I have that on hand. Wet the brush, taking that shadow like so, and then it's gonna start to create this nice metallic-y mixture. And then I'm gonna take that right on top of that blue. So it creates like a liquid foil shade. I'm gonna knock off this bake with my Micro Smooth by Sephora. I was actually baking for a minute today. I'm gonna take some Fenty Beauty mascara. This is the full frontal mascara. I'm gonna pop on some lashes. I really want the eyeshadow to show and pop through, so I'm gonna take some more wispier lashes. In the meantime, I'm gonna follow up with some blush. I'm gonna take my Strawberry Drip blush from Fenty, and I'm picking this up with my sponge. I think it looks really good, especially with that coral shade that I have on the brow bone. It's okay if I put too much because it's gonna fade away. Okay, so now we gotta do is do the lips and some highlighter, and we Gucci. So I'm gonna take my Chi lip liner from Colorpop. Why I got my pinky up like this is tea? I'm gonna take the lip gloss Fortune Cookie from NYX. This is the Buttergloss. Yeah. I'm just gonna go back in with my lip liner to define it a little bit more. And then my favorite lip topper that is discontinued, Colorpop. We gonna have to have a talk because I feel like everything that I like is discontinued, which is also women of color friendly, so that's an issue. Okay, so for highlighter, I'm gonna take my That Glow Kit from ABH. I'm gonna mix Golden Bronze and Dripping in Gold, these two shades. I want to put a little bit on the brow bone, like just a kiss. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I think we're done. I feel like I'm missing something. Okay, I didn't even take off any of my brows today. Cool. Finishing it off with some Morphe Clear Brow Gel. I really like this brow today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, share it with any of your friends who are struggling with, you know, getting their eyeshadow pigments to be popping, getting it to appear to the party. Because when things open up, at least in New York, we gotta look good. That's it. Okay guys, so this is the final look. This is how I get my eyeshadows to be vibrant and appear on the skin, and I love this look. Let me know what you guys think. If my tips was helpful to you, let me know down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.